What's up, guys? So, second week, and I'm still by myself. But I'm not by myself, and that's not Tyra. But
I'm not Tyra.
that's not Tyra.
It's your boy, Matt Spellen. We back,
That's
baby.
right.
Yeah, I'm back.
He's back. I'm back. We're all back. And this is what we're going to do today. So, so last week was the first being back in a while. It's been a minute.
What
I'm
doing?
working.
I feel that. I actually took I was talking about mine. I actually took a year and a half off.
You
I
did.
had no choice though. But I took like a year.
And
And
I
a half.
felt bad taking like 6 months. It was like 4 months old.
Yeah.
I think our last episode we recorded was the end of July.
Oh.
And then I don't like 1 week we couldn't do it, then another week, and then we took a break, and then September started, and like, all right, we're gonna get back, and then
You want to tell Tyra, right? She need to come back and stop playing games. Right?
she needs to come back and stop playing games.
You listen now. This is
Because I can't make commitments on my own.
You could get replaced by all this chocolate. Now, you know what I'm saying?
We got chocolate replacing chocolate? Is that what we're doing?
Don't do it. Don't do it. You better get over here quick. I'm fast too.
I came in, I was like, damn, I got to do this alone again. And look at God.
I put the cape on.
Look at God.
Yes, sir.
God just came in. He said, no, girl, we got you.
Next week you get listen. Oh, now you about to get.
They after your
You
spot.
about to get replaced, baby.
They after your spot,
Nah, we're
Tyra.
gonna replace you, Tyra. You can sit on that side. You can sit over there.
So I walk in and he said, wow, you look just like you look like on TikTok. I said, what was I supposed to look different?
Have you ever seen your TikTok comments?
I do.
Yo, Joe sent it to me.
But let me
one
tell you
time.
something. My TikTok comments are not as bad as my Instagram and Facebook comments.
Okay, good. I don't see those. That's fine.
My TikTok comments are actually a little more down to earth.
That's good.
My Instagram comments, sometimes I'm just like, what?
Joe sent it to me once. He was just like, yo, so this is Connie. I was like, okay. It's like, yeah, so her TikTok be
It's crazy.
be crazy. So I looked at the comments. I said, I can't look at this show.
Yeah, crazy.
I can't look at
And then I'm just like, you know what? I get it. If I came across a certain way.
Well, I think that's why it's still a little humble, because it's still a little nice, because you don't come off like that.
Yeah, I don't feel
know what
like
I
come
mean?
off
Nah,
like
yeah.
to get all comments.
It's the pizza making. That's what it is.
Is that what it is?
Once you start making that pizza,
Once I start making the pizza,
once
it's
you
over.
start making pizza, I think that's what deters everything else. Once you start making the pizza, it's like, all right, you know what? What's really good in this video is that delicious pizza.
I don't know if that's what they're looking at. My delicious pizza. He said go live. Do you know what happens when I go live?
What happens?
Well, actually, no. I'm going to say I got a lot of really cool people that follow my live.
Okay.
And when someone comes in crazy with a crazy comment, I got like a group of
Nice.
people who like attack
Nice.
them like, nah, you're not
Chill
going to
out.
talk to her like that.
Right.
So I love that for me.
Well-
Because sometimes
Yeah, what happened?
people would be crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I used to do
People
a
be
live
crazy.
show. It was we can't say the words anymore because YouTube banned me from saying it. But like we used to have a curse word, right? It was like the real ish talker, and we had like that's when YouTube used to have like the comments coming down. You could like look at it live, and we used to talk crazy. I mean, like talk about people's mamas and everything. And then it was really nice. It was awesome.
Happens
Yeah,
sometimes.
and then they took us down because they was like, first they took down the comment box.
I heard like YouTube is pretty hard. Like you can get
Yeah.
banned real easy.
Even for like in the windows, you could get banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. On TikTok, I posted a video in regard to entrepreneur burnout, right? They tried telling me I was copying someone. I said, copying who? I'm coming on as myself. I'm talking from myself. I'm talking about my own stress. Who am I copying? I said, please show me who I'm copying. They removed that and they let me post.
Yeah, they definitely
Like-
they definitely get things wrong. I'm not sure if they're still as good as I'm not sure how they are now. But
after the ban, everyone said like it's got a new algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So I really haven't been on live since the ban because like once it came back, it wouldn't let you go on live. And then I've been busy working every damn day, so I couldn't go on live. Oh. So I don't know. I don't know what I haven't been. This is the first time like we on live.
Cause you blasting. What's up with you guys? We live.
We live.
And I'm not Tyra, yo.
He's not Tyra.
Yeah, you can't.
Can't even she this.
Can't she this no more.
And that you can't even do no more.
No, you can't. Don't
start with that because we'll be canceled for real.
I ain't talking about it.
We'll be canceled.
I'm not talking about it. I'm not gonna talk
real
about
quick. So don't none of that.
Hey, they get their affairs in order. That's what I say. Get it together, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that happens in 2025. People get it together.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I think we kind of going off the tracks on life.
Yes, I think I I always say when you do live in like a first world country like this. I have traveled, so when you do live in a first world country like that, I think we are a little bit too relaxed. You know, we're too relaxed. There's certain things that you couldn't say or do in other places.
I think values and morals and culture has a lot to do with that. And I don't think it's not to bash anyone. I don't think our cultures are defined the way they need to be.
Right.
And I definitely think culture has a lot to do with it. Cause like there are certain things that I'm a mom, like don't fly with me.
Right. Yeah, same.
There is just some things that you're not gonna do and you're not gonna say and I don't care how grown you are.
Right.
And I think that too has a little bit about like upbringing and what's instilled in you. I think a lot of that went because we're too busy trying to be friends with our kids.
Yeah.
Friendship comes with your kids as they get older. But I think there's also got to be a point where like, I'm not your friend. I'm here to make sure you're doing the right thing. And I'm here to make sure you're going in the right direction. And yeah, like we can be cool. Like we're going to respect each other. I'm going to respect you and I'm going to respect what you have to say. But there's also a point, like my job, I think, as your mom is to make sure you're productive and you're doing what you need to be doing.
I was having the same conversation.
And I think that got lost a little bit.
Yeah, I was having the same conversation with my daughter, and I was just like, hey, she doesn't come out of her face saying anything crazy.
But you're a dad with a daughter. That's a different dynamic.
I got two boys too, but they babies.
But it's definitely a different dynamic, right?
Yeah, it's definitely.
Because like I'm a mom of a boy and I'm a mom of a girl. The way I speak to my daughter and the way I speak to my son are really different.
It is, because I am a lot tougher on my boys.
Like I'm a lot tougher on my daughter than I am on my son.
I have to be tough on my boys because they have to understand like there's certain things they can and can't do as they grow up as men, and understanding how their emotions are going, how their emotions can impact society or themselves.
Correct.
Is very important. My daughter, I had like,
it's a weakness.
It's a weakness.
Certain type of
so
weakness.
I had to kind of have a conversation with her, like, hey, listen, I know you know the strings to pull. I was like, but you gotta understand when it's time for me to put like you in check, like
how old?
Oh, she's 12. She's about to be 12. Yeah.
That's what I said. That's when me and my daughter used to kill each other. She hated me. She's gone around saying she hated me.
Man, I hope that doesn't happen.
But it probably won't because you're the dad. It was a different dynamic between me and her because at the end of the day, I'm a girl and I know what girls go through. I know I can already foresee what she was going to endure. And she thought like I didn't know. Like I was young before and I was that age before. Although they were different times, it's still the same. Like that, what did I say? The player changed, but not the game. It's the same.
Yeah.
So, but with my son, I know I have a different weakness for him. And it's like, yes, because I was like the only, after his dad passed, like I was it. So I had to raise him to be a man to the best of my knowledge.
Mhm.
But there's also a weakness there.
Right.
Until now, he knows that he's like a weakness for me.
Right.
He doesn't really use it to his advantage as he could, but he definitely knows like my weakness.
100%.
With her, I'll curse her out and then we're good. Because like we already went through that whole up and down of her not liking me and that whole thing. But there's definitely a weakness when it comes to one of your children.
Yeah.
And it's like that mom-son dynamic and that like and this is not to be political, but like, and I don't watch politics in any way, but I was watching like Melania with her son.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, yo, she adores that boy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's her like pride and joy. And I'm like, people say that about me when it comes to my son. My daughter's like, your face lights up when he walks in the room.
I feel that way. Of course, I love my sons. I give my left and right arm for them. My daughter,
that's what I'm saying.
She
It's
can't-
definitely she can't do no wrong. Like she can do
could
wrong,
do wrong,
but you'll
like,
still find a way.
I'll find a way to like ease it. Her mom be ready to take her head off
That's
sometimes.
because a girl, mom,
It's
and
the
daughter
two lioness
dynamic.
thing, right? Like, you know?
The mom and daughter dynamic is crazy.
Yeah.
Like even with my daughter, sometimes I want to just like not now because she's like a girl. She's a woman. She's 28.
Oh,
But
yes.
when she was like, even like once we passed that her hating me stage and we became really close,
Right.
like if she'll talk a certain way, I'll be like, who are you talking to? Because I will still knock your teeth out. She's like, you're crazy. I didn't even say anything. But like my son, and he's like real quiet, but it doesn't matter. Like it's just it's weird how that dynamic thing happens. And I see it with like dads with their daughter. Like my dad passed when I was 15. So I don't think I don't really remember that, nor do I don't feel I had that experience. So I don't know, but I see it when it comes to a dad with their daughter is very different than a dad with their sons.
Yeah.
I think with their sons, they want to be tougher. They want to raise them a certain way, which I get it. And it's the same dynamic I had with my daughter. Like I have to teach you how to be a woman. And I got to make sure you're straight and not out there being crazy and doing shit that you don't need to be doing.
Yeah.
So that's my job. It was my job with my son too, but I think the role on how you do it is different.
Yeah, you see the signs with a girl more easier.
Yeah.
Like my boys, I was talking to my wife. I was like, you know, I know what they're gonna deal with, so I have to treat them this way or take care of them this way because I know that. Of course, I still give them love and stuff like that. I try not to be that dad that's
right.
Get away from me. You know, we grew up with. Well, I grew up with. Who was? Yeah, it's canceled. But I'm right now. I'm trying to teach my sons that it's okay to be tough, but still loving. You know, I still want to be. I still want hugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because but my daughter.
Yeah.
Like she had a bad grade, and I know I want to chop her head off, but like I just can't bring myself to do it.
I get it.
Like, so I call mom like, listen, you got to deal with this. This is not my responsibility. So she's like,
and it's definitely that daughter mother dynamic is. I even say it with my own mom. Like I love my mother, but there's times where we just don't. And she's granted, I'm old. Like I'm old. I raised my kids. I've been on my own forever. But like a mom is still a mom, and when a mom with her daughter is still gonna think she knows better.
Right.
So I get it, but it's weird. The dynamics are different. 100% different.
Well, I hope that everything will, everything's right. And
you just pray. You just pray you did your best.
100%.
Cause it's a crazy world. But like I said, I definitely think like morals and ethics and culture has a lot to do with that. And I think that's lost somewhere. And like I don't think one culture is better than another, but I think there's got to be like a root, a foundation somewhere. And I think that's missing sometimes.
Okay.
I definitely think that's missing somewhere because we off the tracks on a lot of stuff.
One thing I say, like, we are in an age where everybody's trying to be different. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to try to be different, and because they're trying to be different, they want to be seen. So they do like these outrageous things, or they are something.
It's because everyone has a platform now.
Right.
Like, think about it. Like, even us, like here, we have a platform, right? We're just talking. You might not agree, but we're still talking.
Yeah, 100%.
But everyone has a platform. Everyone has has this thing where they think, you know, they can just say whatever they want to say or just be seen. And it's like, but like, why? Why are we all searching for this validation? You got to kind of think what's missing. Something's missing somewhere for us to want to be validated
100%.
outside of, you know, who needs to really validate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So something's missing. There is something lacking somewhere. Somewhere something is missing. And I kind of glad, and I say this all the time, I'm so glad I don't have kids in the school system right now. I'll be honest with you. My son graduated 2020, one of the worst years ever to graduate.
Yeah.
So he graduated high school 2020. He's my last. My daughter graduated 2015. But seeing what goes on in this, yeah, I'm happy my kids aren't in.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
It's scary.
It's not just them; it's the teachers too. Like, you know, I'm not sure if it's the fact that we don't have enough teachers that care, or we're at a point where, because I will never say they're really good teachers. They're really good teachers.
But I think a lot of control has been taken away from the teachers.
Yeah.
And it forces you to not put into it what they used to put into, because I think a lot of control got, because some abuse the control. Some, I don't know, because I remember our teachers, at the end of the day, you might not have liked them, but you were still kind of going to respect them.
Right.
That's lost somewhere.
I remember growing up, I was in a public school system.
So was I.
So I had half the teachers were abusing of their power, and then the other half was they were mean, but they were still good teachers.
Right.
You know, so
Where did you grow up?
Where I grew up, which school? I've been all over the place. I'm originally from Brooklyn.
Okay.
And then I went to high school in Paterson, New Jersey.
Okay.
So yeah.
I grew up in Totowa. So I went to school in.
So then, you know, Paterson.
Yeah. What school in Paterson?
Kennedy.
Oh, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Kennedy was one of the better schools.
No. What are you talking about?
What about East Side?
Don't let it fool you.
Yeah.
Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you, yo. We had one of the. I could tell you is one time. I told the story before. We had one of the right before, what was it, the towers situation? We had one of the hugest gang fights that ever happened in Paterson. They had it on the news. Helicopters was flying all over the place. It was right off of Jasper Street. Shout out to all the Jasper Street people. And there was like this, half the school emptied out and went over to the block and was fighting. It was one of the biggest fights in there. Now, I'm not gonna say if I was part of it or not, but
it don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But it was
the statutes of limitations.
There you go. Can I say, just know I'm fast. I'm fast. All right. Nobody got nothing.
Statutes of limitations finished.
But like I remember that we had huge gang fights. I remember when they used to slam security guards.
Really?
Yeah. A lot. Oh, this is on. You can look this up. A lot of them predators that was in my school. That was teachers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that happened in our school.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was
like gym teachers with these young girls. Like,
it's always, first of all, why is it always the gym teacher?
What is that?
It's like this weird gym. Yeah, honestly.
But what is it? But then I even hear like in the town that I have the pizzeria in, like young women teachers with these 13, 14. What in God's name do you find attractive about that? There's something wrong there.
Listen, when you're
like,
I understand
you can cancel me, but
if you're 40 something and you need a 13-year-old, I don't know what's that doing for you, but
it can't be feeding your ego. Because they're 14. 14 will.
It has to be an ego thing.
You think so?
It has to be an ego thing.
Well, let me tell you something. I get all the 14-year-olds that come in. I want to beat them up half the time.
Most of the time.
Because they crazy. They loud. They be knocking over chairs. And they know. Like, I'll be like, what are you doing?
And then I'm not saying anything about this generation, but when we were growing up, kids look like kids.
Yeah, they don't look like kids.
They don't look like
but
kids. But
even the girls don't look like
kids. So it's like, what really were you guys into? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I I don't know. I don't see that. And that's kind of disturbing. But again, like I said, I'm so happy. And I say this all the time. When I hear like my friends who have kids in the school, I'm just like, so happy I'm past that. First, I'm happy I'm done with no homework, missing assignments.
Oh my God, I just had this fight.
My son was the king of missing homework assignments.
That's my daughter right now.
And I used to say, sir,
I love it enough.
You ain't got no other responsibility than that. Well, just do your homework.
Oh, so now you could go online and you could check everything that's going on. I'm gonna do this girl's homework, man. So the teacher goes, "Oh, we're gonna check chapter 5 through 9, right?" There's 10 pages empty, and I'm like, "Hey, what have you been doing at this table every day? What have we been doing here?" So, and they got ways that they could kind of like show us home, like yeah. You gotta be very diligent on your kids' homework right now.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Well, first of all, because everything's on that dumb Chromebook.
Yeah, everything's online. Yeah.
Everything's on that Chromebook. There's nothing physical that you're looking at anymore. I remember when it changed over to that Chromebook. I think my daughter was in like 8th grade, and the first year that they gave, I think it was 8th grade, they gave them iPads, and then they moved from iPads to Chromebooks. But the first year they gave her an iPad, she cracked it. That shit cost me more money than I said. Why are they giving us this? Like they're giving us this to become an expense for us.
Yeah.
Stupid. But anyway, then everything switched over to Chromebooks. So then you had to go on the portal to see what homeworks is.
Yeah, they still do the portal thing now too.
My son, and I used to not check a lot of stuff. They would email me, and then I'd be like, 2020, right? Year of graduation, COVID happens. He's schooled at home now at this point from like March to June. In May, I get an email that he's failing ceramics.
Okay.
I said,
Okay.
how are you failing ceramics? Because it's not like we're doing anything physically in ceramics. What are you doing? Is there like papers that you got to fill? Why are you failing ceramics? Because this is not making sense to me. He wasn't logging on to class. Like, sir, you're at home in your bed. You don't even physically have to make anything. Why are we failing ceramics? I'm like, just pass these dumbass classes.
Yeah.
Or you got to graduate.
That was the easiest year for them.
What are you doing?
That was crazy.
So yeah, I'm glad I do not deal with. I couldn't wait for him to graduate because I was so tired of the missing homework, the not wanting to go. Like he used to go to school because he would drive. Like the last 2 years he drove, and it was more fun.
Right.
But not to actually learn anything. Like I couldn't wait. And all that because he kept saying to me, just let me get my GED. I used to be like, no, you don't want to go to college, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But you're going to walk. You are going to give me that. At least you're going to walk. 2020 happened. He didn't walk. It was the drive up. He didn't do that. He had to go to school, get his diploma. He went to school, got his diploma, came back and handed it to me. He said, this is yours. You wanted this. And he's like, you see, you should have just let me get my GED. I didn't even get to walk. Like, God, were you playing with me?
Such a slide. Yeah, all right.
I was like, wow. He's like, here, this is yours. I'm like, what do you mean it's mine? He's like, only reason I got this is for you. He's like, you wanted to see me walk? You didn't even get that. Here, this is yours. Until this day, I had that diploma in my closet because apparently it's mine.
Well, it's better he got it anyway.
That's what I said. I said, so when he was younger, he used to always be like, Mom, just let me come to work with you. I'm like, Giovanni, you have to go to school. Like, you can't come to work with me. Just let me come to work. I'll help you make pizzas. I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Oh, yeah, hustler.
So now he works with me.
Hey.
Right? He's been working with me for a while now. But he started working full time for me in 2021. And we had schools. So he's like, you see? You should have just let me not go to school. I could have been doing schools with. I could have helped you back then. So, yes. All that. And now I still got him. But
don't worry, sacrifice is worth it.
Yeah. Now, as for a hustler, they're both hustlers. They both really not beat for school, but both of them, like she owns her own business. She does commercial trucking, she does insurance, she does finances for trucking. So she's smart, and he does his social media thing. He works with her, he works with me, but don't talk to him about school. He's not for it.
Well, maybe he could teach.
Yeah, someone said to him something like, "Oh, why don't you sign up for this or whatever?" He's like, "How much you make?" And he's like, told him, and he's like, "How many years you're there?" And he tells him, he's like, "Why would I want to do that when I could make that on my own?" I'm like, "All right." So
I mean, he
argue with
ain't
him.
I mean, as long as he's proving it, he
Argue with them. What can I tell you?
No, that's dope. That's dope. At least like the kids found
They found their niche.
Yeah, that's dope.
Takes a while.
Mm-hmm.
It takes, and school don't even guarantee you that.
Mm-hmm.
I have my college degree. Look where I'm at, making pizzas.
Hey, but you know how to handle the business.
I think the business handles.
It always does.
I think the business handling me. I don't know if I'm handling business. Because sometimes, woo, feels like it's beating my ass.
I do feel like if I don't want to say it, but like, cause hopefully my daughter don't hear this. I do feel like college is for when you want to do that, doctor or lawyer, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you're just trying to like, hey, I'm gonna get out here and just get this money.
Because unfortunately, first of all, it's crazy expensive. Kids get out after a 4-year degree with an insane student debt. They're coming out of college and they're making the same as someone who didn't go to college.
Yeah. And they got a debt on top of it.
Now, am I an advocate for school in the sense of learning? Yes, I think you should always be learning. And that's at any age. I don't think you need to go to school for that, but I also do think you need to keep your brain constantly learning, always doing something else, because it keeps your brain alive. Because we get really stagnant in whatever we're doing in life, and it's kind of like you're just living on, what they call it, like Groundhog Day. It's like a lot of people just get in the loop of just doing the same things. It's like you get up, you go to work, you do the same thing at work, you come home, you do the same thing at
rotating door type of thing.
I think that slowly kills your brain off.
I do feel like that way too.
I think you definitely need to educate your brain, and however you want to educate it, that's on you. But I definitely feel education in that sense is something we need, because your brain will literally, that's what happens, I think, to a lot of older people. They're so used to just doing the same thing, and then like retirement comes and now you just broke a habit of 30, 40 years, and they don't even know what to do with themselves.
Many moons ago, I was a CNA.
Okay.
Did the whole thing, right? So yeah, but I've seen firsthand what happens when they stop.
Yeah.
Like, I do believe, like, I'm right now I run a fitness business and everything, but and I see what happens when people decide to no longer move. Like they go fast.
Yes.
Fast.
That's like what happens. When people like are pushing someone to, oh, you got to retire, you got to retire, you got to retire. That person retires, and within like a year, a lot of them pass away. Yes. It's because your whole existence now, you feel like you're non-existent. Because you're like, you just stop. It's like you shut down.
Right.
Physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that.
Do you think you should have like a balance between work and
yes, I just don't have it.
Yeah, but just in case, like, if the time does come, I don't know, God forbid something does happen.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, with the right balance, and you could shift over to the other part of your life without it affecting
For
you?
sure. I definitely think that's important, but I also think balance is probably the hardest thing to do,
100%.
especially when you own your own business.
100%.
Because you get so self-consumed with your business, and you forget that there's another world. Like, I had to balance raising my kids and the business, and it was hard. But now it's like my kids are on their own.
Right.
And now it's just a business. So it's like, not that I put more time in there because it's still the same amount of time, but it's now like that's all there is. And that is why I definitely think you should constantly educate your brain, because you can go crazy doing the same thing all the time. And it's like you become so self-consumed with there. And I think now I'm at the age where it's like, all right, I got to figure out what's next.
So what is something you do? Like something you just do to kind of like release the pressure and the stress.
I work. I try.
Nothing. I just crash out.
I crash out. No. I actually, well, now I was just licensed for insurance.
Oh, congrats.
So to
Congratulations.
try and
So you want to do more work?
Yeah. I want to do more office work and less physical work.
Okay.
I want to try and make that transition. Because 28 years doing this, I'm old. I'm getting old and I'm feeling it. Okay. But eventually I'd like to transition. That doesn't mean I'll sell it, but I think I want to be less hands-on. What do I do? That is where I am at this crossroad now. Because basically when I finally was able, like my son was done with school, 2020 happened, COVID happened. The whole trajectory of the business changed.
Right.
Indoor was non-existent. Everything was takeout. So I was working crazy hours. Everything changed after COVID. And it really never went back to pre-COVID times. Right. It was like COVID happened and life just changed. And for good or bad, it just changed. So I think now is the first time after 5 years of post-COVID that I'm realizing, like, all right, I have to, like, shit's got to change, because this can't, like, okay, I'm investing all these hours in this, but something's got to give. So I have to figure out, like, where's my balance? Because there is no, other than like your occasional, you like I'll go out to eat, I'll go, talk with my friends, hang out with my kids, but like there's no outlet anymore. So that's where I have to transition, because there is no outlet.
Well, you've been thinking about an outlet? Like, what have you been thinking?
Well, I just started educating my brain again. I'm very into, I'm not going to say metaphysical, because it's not really metaphysical, but like, I just started like reading again to try and like get my mental straight.
Yeah, okay.
And like started listening to more meditations again to get my mental straight. Because you get stressed. And stress is a killer. Like stress.
When they're leading kills.
Yeah, like financial stress, just life stress and pressures. It can really change your outlook on life. And then it's really easy to get sucked into that. So that's why I was like, all right, I got to come back to this. I need to get my ass back in the gym. I need to, and like the whole gym thing, like even it's for my mental. Because I was like walking a lot at one point, and my son's like, what are you, 80? And I'm like, no, but it's for my mental. Like when I go, it's like you're out in nature and it's like you're walking and your mental it's good for my mental.
What I tell my clients is that I was like, when we do, that's what I'm saying. When you do train, you do release a lot of dopamine in your brain. So, and that oxytocin, and it's just it makes everything else easier.
Yes.
So,
because stress, I think stress blocks that. Stress inhibits that, like from even producing. And again, like the last 5 years, COVID definitely changed everything. And you have to kind of like now.
There's people still recovering from COVID.
Yeah.
Still trying to recover from it.
Still trying to recover in so many different ways.
Yes, 100%.
Like mentally, because now you're talking about people were locked in their homes. People got so used to being locked in their homes and not going out. That is terrible for your mental.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Like our body's supposed to be near people.
Yeah. That's so terrible for your mental. That's the one thing, like by the grace of God, like during COVID, I worked all through COVID, and COVID literally happened the month after my brother passed away. So if I had to be stuck in my house after that, no way mentally I would have gone through that one.
I did. COVID was I was I had this fire job, but it's fire. I just got hired too. I was at a steel spot. I got the white hat. And everybody hate me because I'm a white hat guy, and I'm like, yeah, I'm about to be your boss. And I tell you, COVID hit. I was the first person that I go. I remember my boss. I'm walking into this thing. He's has tears running around his face. He's like, "I'm so sorry," and I'm like, "Just give me my check."
Man.
But it was good. I stayed home for 2 months. I was home for 2 months, and then I just prayed. And then my client hit me up, was like, "Yo, I can't do this no more. Are you doing anything?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." We was outside working out, and then the people started seeing I was outside, so I started getting clients outside, and then the business went. Then my side business, which was training, became my main business, and then.
But I think, I think that's what I definitely think COVID was like that turning point.
Yeah, you had to be if you didn't adapt, you was gonna fail.
You was gonna fail.
Yeah,
You were gonna fail.
A lot of people couldn't adapt.
No, because again, it took them out of that habit of getting up, going to work. Like that routine was now broken.
Yeah.
And there was nothing else for them. And I think that just mentally took a lot of people at a place where, and then a lot of people still didn't get out of that. And that's crazy.
That's what we meant about earlier, and a lot of people haven't recovered yet. Yeah. So it's terrible, but.
Yeah, I definitely think COVID changed things. And again, I was so wrapped up in like that world of trying to get it back to pre-COVID that I had to come to a realization like, all right, we ain't doing pre-COVID. We're gonna have to figure out now from this point forward. And turning 50 this year, I think last year was definitely a turning point. Like I had to just really look at life different. And not because like I think 50 is like I'm ancient. It's just
that 50, so you got.
Thanks. There's got to be a turning point. And I think not because of the number, but it's just like, okay, I invested 28 years into this business. I did what I needed to do for my kids. Now it's like my time to figure out who I am from 28 years ago. Because you're not the same person.
Yeah, you're definitely not.
You're not the same person. Your 20s, you're one person. Your 30s, you're another. Your 40s, you're another. Like, you change.
When did you realize you're an adult?
Not too long ago now. No, honestly, and I know this sounds terrible, I was an adult from like 15 because my dad passed and our whole life changed. My dad passed like suddenly. Our whole life changed, and I always took the role on of being like the adult.
Right.
But it was the adult who was always making sure everybody else was good and doing what everybody else felt I needed to do. And I got lost in that. And then
So you was mom for a long time.
I was mom for a long time. So like for me getting married at 21, everyone's like, oh, that's young. It wasn't any different than what I was doing prior to that. So getting married young, having my kids young, I never looked at it like, oh, I missed out on my 20s of going out. Like I never looked at it as that. But when I woke up at 45 and my kids were kind of like grown, my son was graduating high school, and then it's like my brother passed at 50. I'm like, girl, you don't even know who the hell you are. So it's like I was so used to being an adult and so used to making sure that everything is straight and everybody was straight and everything was going well. And no matter what hits I was taking, I had to just keep going. 45 was kind of like, girl, you could die tomorrow. And that's a vivid place to be. Like, are you good with where your life is? Are you good with how things are? Like, can you say you did and accomplished what you wanted to accomplish? Like, hell no, I didn't. So that's kind of, I think, the turning point of starting to look at life differently. And then I did for a while. Like, I was out enjoying my life, not like going crazy, but I was just out. I was only responsible for myself per se. Like, clearly I'm always going to be a mom. You never stop being a mom. But I wasn't dependent on like I used to be.
Right.
So it was like, okay, so now I can worry about me. I could just focus on me. And life changed. But now it's like I'm at that turning point again. Like, okay, I did that. I enjoyed my life. I went out. I did that. But now it's like I gotta refocus and recalibrate what's my from here to retirement and what am I doing?
Okay.
So yeah.
Is there since you have older kids and I have young kids at the time, is there anything that you did or anything that you did with your older that with your kids that you wish you could have changed a little bit or
Yeah, I think I wish I had more patience because I was so stressed always between I had like things that with their father stressed me and then he like we separated and he passed and then it's like okay now I'm all they have. So I got to make sure I'm steering them in the right direction here and I have to make sure like I'm supporting them from there. So all that pressure made me not enjoy like their youth, like in the sense of everything was like a job to me.
right.
Like, okay, I had to get them to work to school. That was a job. Like I had to make sure they were coming home. I had to make sure that their homework was done. I had to make sure projects were done. Like I didn't get to enjoy any of that because it was just like a job. It was kind of like, okay, this is what I have to do. This. There was no enjoying them. And I regret that. Well, not regret it, but I was watching like this thing on Jan Levanzon. I don't know if like you guys like her or whatever. It doesn't matter. But she was like, I was a terrible mom, but I was a great dad. And I was like, wow,
Mm,
yeah. Like I wasn't the nurturer. My mom was.
right.
Like, and I always say like I co-parented with my mom. My mom got to nurture them. My mom got to see them when they came home from school. She would feed them until I would get home. She would be there. Like they knew she was like their soft spot. But like I couldn't. Like I didn't have the capacity to be that person
Right.
because I had to make sure like everything else was being taken care of. So I think not I regret, but like that's where I wish like life was softer or I was softer and was able to be that for them. Cuz they know like I'm the strong one. If you're going to come to me with a problem, we're going to figure it
Yeah, we're gonna
out and
figure
we're
this
going to
out.
handle
Right,
this.
right.
Until now they know like if there's a problem, they're going to come to me and I'm going to handle it and we're going to handle it together. But they still also know like my mom is their like safety. Like
Right.
their nurturer.
Right,
If
right.
they're looking for that coddling, they know my mom's there.
Right.
So I kind of missed that part of it, but I did what I had to do
You sure did.
and life was what it was.
And
But that is probably my biggest where like I wish I could have been their mom and not their dad.
right.
But life hit me that way. So now I always say like if I ever have grandkids, we can try that all over.
Well, it sounds like you have two
Yeah.
strong, amazing kids.
I do.
You know, they got sound like they got their head on straight.
They do, thank God.
But what about with yourself? Like, was there any gaps that you could see in your past that you wish you could have like was able to decompress or was able to?
For sure. For sure. I wish I put myself first in many situations. I think that's something that I'm trying to learn how to do now, and it's crazy hard. Breaking that habit of literally being yourself is
Yeah.
hard. So trying to put myself first, regardless of how someone else feels about it, and not feling guilty for it is crazy.
Yeah, the guilt is hard. The
Crazy.
guilt is hard. There's sometimes I go get a sandwich and it'd be like, should I go get something for the kid?
Yeah, like
It'd be in the middle of the day, like they don't
crazy.
get home for another 3-4 hours. I'm like, maybe I should bring something home anyway.
It's crazy. The
Mm,
guilt
yeah.
will literally eat you alive, and I definitely had that as something that I have to work through because I want to always make sure everyone's good, and I forget like, girl, what about you?
Right.
Like, what about you? You're gonna worry about if you're good? Who's worrying? And then I get resentful when I'm just like, like everyone has a tipping point, and then I'll just be like, oh, I do this and this and that. But like, hey, nobody asked you to.
Right.
You'd put that on yourself. So, and I have to kind of relearn that, and that shit ain't easy. Because literally I have to break the habit of what's worked for me for so long. But then I'm like, did it really work for you? Because you mad as hell that nobody doing this for you.
Yeah.
So is it working for you? But again, like we get so wrapped up in what we think is normal or a habit that to break it, you literally have to be conscious of it.
Okay.
So definitely enjoy your family, your kids, because at the end of the day, I heard someone say this. I don't remember. It was up on a podcast. I don't remember whose podcast it was, but they said that most people on their deathbed aren't looking for what they own or how much money they have or what they're looking for the people that are closest to them.
100%.
So, you got to make sure like you nourish yourself as well as those relationships because it's really easy to get caught up in, the rush and the hustle of life. Like being a hustler is great in the sense like, you always got you and one way or another, you're always going to get through it.
Yep.
But to try and be like on the soft side of that is something that I think we all need to work on, men and women, because I think some men too just hustle, 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 and they forget like you have people in your life that, want a different side of you.
Right.
So I think those are things that I've become more aware of. I'm grateful now that I'm aware of them because that's like your first, what do they say? Like, admitting the issue. Because I was really never.
Your first step.
Yeah, your first step. I was never really aware of that. I used to be like, wow, if I don't do this, who's going to do it? Like,
it could feel that way. Who do you attribute your strength from? Because you sound really strong.
I don't know. I mean, my mom's a strong woman. She was like, when my dad passed, she had no other choice but to, continue to raise me and my brother. She's taken a lot of losses in life. I think as a kid, when I saw her lose my dad and it kind of tore her apart, I just swore like I would never let someone have that much effect on me, like to literally tear my life apart. And I think that's where that whole trigger started, where like I can like nothing, like I can't let shit break me like that. But I don't know if that's the best way to do things. But you're given situations and you kind of got to deal with them.
Yeah, kids, you never know. Kids interpret things differently,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because then looking back now as an adult, then like I see like she lost my dad. She had to bury my brother. She's taken many losses. And I'm like, actually she's really strong because I don't know if I could handle the whole burying one of my kids.
Right.
Like,
I don't even like thinking about it.
Nah. Hell no. I couldn't handle it, and it was my sibling. He was my only sibling. But like, that's your kid. So once that happened, also I looked at her strength in a whole different ways. But again, I'm looking through the lens of an adult.
Right.
As a kid, you're looking at it through a different lens, and I see that with my kids also. Like, as they're getting older, they're seeing things through different lenses, and so you're always you can look at the same thing, but it's always gonna look different depending on where you are, like mentally at the time.
Right.
So I think I attribute a lot of my strength to my family, my mom, and just kind of like, if I give up, then what?
Yeah, I get that.
Like, I give up, then what? Who's got me? No one. So it's not an option. How do I say many times like, oh, I'm just over this. I don't want to do this no more. Hell yeah. I get wrapped up in that too. But then you kind of got to like check yourself and know like, all right, we're going to keep pushing. So yeah, life isn't always easy, but
definitely not. It's definitely not. So if you had to give out a message to like, say if you was talking to a whole bunch of young women or new moms, new dads, like what would be the message that you give them?
don't beat yourself up. I think as parents, we
That's
beat
good.
ourselves up
That's good.
so much, like always questioning if you're doing the right thing, if you did it correctly, and how your choices are going to affect that child as they're growing up, and if your choices or what you did or what you didn't do is the reason why they they turned out or did what they did. Like at the end of the day, you can only plant a seed and then hope for the best, because they're gonna do things that you might not agree with or you might not like, but that's also their journey. And beating yourself up over it is not helping the situation. And I've done that like numerous times, like, oh, did I make the best decision here or there? And you're constantly just beating yourself up. Like, give yourself grace. And I don't think parents give themselves grace as much as they should. Like, you're trying your best. And if you're literally just trying your best and doing the best that you can, like, you got to give it to God at some point and hope for the best. But like, we literally as parents, and I could speak as a mom, as a single mom, like we literally beat ourselves up, and it's not benefiting. It's not beneficial to anyone. You're doing the best that you can. And eventually when your kids are grown and parents themselves, they're going to see that you really did the best that you can. They might not parent the same way you did. That's fine.
Right.
But you literally did the best that you can. Like stop beating yourself up. Give yourself grace. Know that you did the best. If you know in your heart you did the best that you could, yeah, could you have done things different? Of course, we all could have done things different. But if you know, like at the time with what you were given, you did the best that you can, like you got to leave it at that and then give it to God.
Okay, definitely. Last one. What what would be the message that you would give to kids as they grow up with their parents? Like, what do you how
Give them grace too. Like, understand your parents are humans. We are all just humans.
I think kids do forget that.
Kids forget that. Kids see us as supernatural. Like they see us as, some are seen as heroes. Some of them see their parents as the villains. Some of them see their parents as, like, they just don't know. Like, we were kids too. Believe it or not, we didn't just grow up. But understand your parents literally are doing the best that they can. You might not agree with it and you might not like what they're saying, but most of us have the best intentions for our kids and want you guys to do better than us. And I think that's what happens. Like, we want them to be better than us. So you think where where you were misguided, you're going to guide them in the right direction or different. And they might not want that guidance.
Right.
But kids, we are just human beings, and we were kids ourselves, and we are going through we are trying to work through our own traumas or issues or situations and doing the best that we can. I think if everybody gave each other grace in certain situations, we'd be a lot better off. But in the midst of life, you don't think that.
Right.
You don't see that.
No.
I think husbands and wives do the same.
Yeah.
I think somewhere along, like, once you become parents, you lose the fact that, like, you actually chose this person because you like this person.
That does happen.
Yeah, like you actually like this person at one point, and you really like wanted to be with this person. And I think we lose that somewhere.
Yeah, especially when it does come to husband and wives, you have to always remember why you were
Why
with them.
you're with them. Yeah.
Always,
And I think that gets not just husbands and wives. I think in relationships. I think
100%.
as relationships, grow and they become and years pass and you're still with the same person, you forget the why and you forget the who you actually both are to the core.
Yeah.
And that gets lost because life gets in the way, and stresses and finances and raising kids and all of these things.
People
I think
change too, so you have
people
to be
do change.
You gotta be able to
and
adapt with
sometimes
them.
people don't change together, and I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's where this happens. You kind of always gotta grow.
I always say, like, and this is my personal. If you are married, it's your responsibility to fix it.
Yeah.
But unless it's extreme circumstances, we got
there's always extreme circumstances, but I think it's a lot
responsibility.
easier for people to just give up.
Yeah, it's super easy to.
It's easy to give up and just think like the next person, you're not gonna have those problems. You're just gonna have other problems.
Yeah, those problems always gonna carry.
And you're just gonna have other problems, and that person might have nice qualities, but not these. You know what I mean? I think there's always that. So I think it's always to remember, grow together. You're on each other's team. I think we forget we're on each other's team sometimes. Even with your kids, like we're on the same team.
Yeah.
But I think that gets lost. But I think society also attributes to that.
Yeah.
Because it's easier just to give up on things. And it's like I see these things too of like people writing off their parents. Like, how are we doing that?
Right.
Unless they were like the worst parents in the whole world, how you doing that? Or just like going no contact with your parent. Like, I can't see that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, they did the best that they could.
With what they had too.
Yeah, with what they had. You're talking about different times also. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We had a pretty good discussion. Look, this was like
you better stop
throw
playing.
into this.
You better stop playing.
Sorry, you better stop playing.
Show up. This chocolate be back in the two again.
So that was it for today. I think we talked your ear off.
Yeah.
Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you follow. It's Connie and Tyra's Diner podcast. Although that's not Tyra.
It's your boy Matt.
It's your boy Matt.
Spellen.
From
Lovely Important Nonsense Podcast.
Make sure you follow, because don't be playing around with this. Don't be playing games. So make sure you follow. Appreciate the love and be back next week.
We out.
Bye.